Not hearing anything. Mute?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. Oh my God, literally, was crying.
No.
Okay. And I am going to I'm going to put you guys on mute. You can unmute yourselves at any point. If you want to hop on and say something, whatever. But I'm just figured I would start you on mute. So a couple of things, and actually you'll need to unmute a little bit, just kind of business things. The Rachel Hollis group, who is in for I haven't gotten organized about a start date, so it kind of actually probably ended up giving us more time. Who is up for doing some posts and seeing if they can gather some peeps to be in the group? Okay. Julie is.
When do you think you're going to start?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, we could start because it's not something we need to do a ton of pre-work for. We could start it on Monday with intros over the weekend. We're pretty flexible. And we can just kind of rotate through who's taking chapters, and we can use the graphics that that Alicia put in the group already in Faithfully Fit, so we don't need to create anything. Yeah, always good. Were you guys were all in the group we did for Girl Wash Your Face, right? You were in it, Julie.
Admittedly, I was in it, but I was very yeah.
Basically what we did was we took chapters, we just made a spreadsheet, and so we had all read the book already. I haven't even started it, and I'm going to start it, and I'm psyched to start it, but I just haven't, I haven't had a second. So I'm actually probably going to start it in the car up on the way up to Vermont this weekend. And because I'm driving up with Andrew, and my children will put their headphones on, earbuds in, and won't want to talk to me anyway. So I'm going to listen to PD for 3 hours because that's what worked very well. So I'll listen to a lot of it. But what we could do is just kind of, if you have read it or are reading it and that there are specific chapters that you want to address, great. Otherwise, we can just create a rotation. You can even look at the table of contents at the names of the chapters. It's set up in a way, what we did was we each took, Catherine's trying to go in and out. Her Wi-Fi is giving her trouble. We just kind of, we would listen to a chapter, so if you didn't get far ahead, it was okay. But we would just talk about the chapter. We would kind of post our big takeaway and let the discussion flow as it flowed. And there was some really nice conversation around it. We made it clear that people could have different opinions and that was fine, just as long as everyone was respectful. I think if people are not into Rachel Hollis, they're not going to want to join the group. She's a more known quantity now than she was. So if somebody is not a fan of hers at all, they're not going to want to join. When I've had if people have commented to me, oh, I don't like her because of this, my feeling is, people are like, well, she doesn't understand what it is to be an entrepreneur because she has so much money. And my feeling is, it doesn't really matter how much money you have to be an entrepreneur. You still have to have certain things within yourself. You could inherit a massive amount of money and still have no confidence and no drive and no creativity and just no belief in yourself. So a lot of the things that she kind of preaches are about that. And then a lot of people felt like she was body shaming when she talked about weight loss. And I just think a lot of it comes from perspective. I didn't find it body shaming because it's not healthy to be way overweight. She's not saying ever that you need to be, Barbie slim. She's, but it's just, it's not healthy to be 75 pounds overweight. It's, so I think it just depends on what your takeaway is. And if you're defensive about certain things, you're not going to have the right takeaway. Or if you are looking for that kind of validation and reinforcement, it's going to work. So, I think we just see who wants, but it doesn't have to be like crazy activity, but if we want to throw up posts and invite people to join, and what I'll do is when I create the group in Facebook, I'll put questions for people to join. So they have to say who referred them to the group. And that way we'll kind of know, because if people add, like in the last one, we had a lot of people adding people, adding friends. So you don't necessarily know who kind of goes with who. So I can do a couple of those like questions that you need to join. The other thing I wanted to check in on is what's everyone doing right now for PD?
I actually just started Girl Stop Apologizing because I like to listen to a chapter and then go back and listen to it again, because I do it in the car like you do, Pam.
Yep.
I try and listen to it once while I'm in the car, and then the next time I listen to it, I try and do it somewhere where I can actually take notes, because I really like to do that.
Yep. I like doing the same thing with not with everything, but definitely with certain things.
Yeah.
I did that with Girl Stop Apologizing, and with the Girl What's Your Face, and I always do that with like the Coach Life School podcasts and those things.
Yeah.
Julie, what are you doing?
I just started reading that as well, but I'm actually reading it. I read Shaun T's book like 3 times just because it really spoke to me at the time. But I have to say I've stunk it up in the last couple weeks. So
are you missing it?
I am so wiped. I don't know if I miss it or not, to be honest. I mean, I think, yes, I do. It's just so much other stuff going on. I don't have a chance to miss it, I guess.
So what I found is I was struggling a little bit with my PD, and I started listening to some podcasts instead of digging it. Like I found that a little easier when I was just struggling the last couple of weeks. So I actually listened to some of Rachel Hollis's podcasts. I listened to some of Coach Life School, or Life Coach School. I always say it backwards. Just because they stand on their own. And I found it a little easier to just kind of get those snippets, and actually a lot of things in them, really spoke to me, like exactly what I needed at that time. And then the other thing I do when I'm dealing with that is I'll listen to K-Love and the praise music. Like for me, that's its own form of PD. So if I really can't, if I really need something just completely different, that's what I go to.
Gotcha.
Donna, are you reading anything?
I'm still muted. Oh,
I just
I'm not muted.
You know what? No, because I work in publishing. So a lot of times in my downtime, I don't read an actual book because I do read a lot of manuscripts. And so I come home and I'm on the train and I'm falling asleep because I spend a lot of time with books, and they're kind of...
So maybe podcasts might be a good route for you.
I had been doing that a little bit at work because I can close my door right now, at least until we move.
Yeah.
Because after that, I won't have a door. Yay. But this week, I have not done any of that. I have not had music on. I have not had podcast on or anything because I have people in and out of my office constantly. I am the move captain of the floor, apparently.
A lot.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, check out. I can send you a couple of the podcasts that I like,
that would be great.
and definitely check them out.
And so you're saying you listen to like an Audible book?
I
Is that
listen to
how you-
Audible, yeah, because I love to read, but I just, I don't have time to sit down and read it. And when
Right.
I finally do that, I'm ready to go to sleep. So it just doesn't happen. And when I sit down, I'm more likely to be doing some of my coaching work. So I don't have time. And I never used to do any, coaching is kind of what brought this PD into my life, and I really love it.
Mhm.
But it's, I didn't used to dig into that at all. So, yeah, but the podcast I've really enjoyed too. Catherine, can you, I don't know if I can't unmute her. I don't think her reception is good enough. I wonder, Catherine, I don't know if you can hear us. If you can type messages too in the chat. Okay. The other thing that I was actually going to ask you each to do, you guys have a notebook or paper or something? Okay. Donna, I know you don't. And this is more these guys, since you're kind of following along. I want you right now to write down 5 names of people that you can invite to whatever it is, to be, to Ultimate Portion Fix, to just lifestyle shift, whatever it is. 5 people who you think you can invite. Just like 1, 2, 3, go. Throw their names down. Like don't think about it. Just stick their names on paper. Julie, you're thinking too hard. Wait, I can't hear you. I'm unmuting you.
I was gonna say I've got 3, but then people who pop in my head, they're already doing like 2B or something with us.
Okay.
So.
What I found, so this is the reason I like just write them down and don't think about it, because on Friday night in the car on the way up to Vermont, I was doing all sorts of different things and working, but I wasn't inviting. I was just, I was doing everything but. And we were getting to the point where, like, at a certain point in the ride, we lose service. So I was going to not be able to do, I was like, all right, so my kind of work for the evening will be done. And I was like, you know what? I didn't invite. I didn't reach out. And because that's the part that all of us hate the most. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I sent out, let me go pull them up on Facebook. I sent out a ton of invites. And I just said, happy Friday. So glad it's the weekend. Thanks for the love on my posts. It can still be tough to put myself out there, and the response really makes a difference. I wanted to check in as there's a new program being released that has a great real life approach to nutrition. I'm kicking off a group of people who are doing it on April 1st and would love to see if it could be a good fit for you. What do you think? Best, Pam. That's all I said. I sent out about 15 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of those. And 2 people responded. One saying, you know what, I've been watching you like crazy, and I've been working on my nutrition, but I need to get stronger. And every time I look at you, I'm like, okay, I can, like, I need to do some of what you're doing. So let's talk for the summer. And another person is somebody I don't really, she's a friend of Andrew's from high school. And she was like, you know what? I watch your posts, and I'm an artist who has not had the confidence to take what I do beyond just kind of doodling for myself and for friends. And I always think about, like, she's like, you're giving me the courage to start my own business, and I'd love to talk more about your coaching. I mean, I was like, okay, those invites were completely worth it. To throw out those 10 and to get that back was just such, I don't know what it'll come to, but to know, like, one of my favorite national wake-up calls that I've heard in the recent past was it Jen Richardson? I'm blanking on who it was, but she said, I have to go back to my notes, but she said, you have to pour belief into the people you work with like a fire hose, like water from a fire hose. And I just loved that image, that like you have to like saturate people with the ability to believe in themselves until they're able to do it for themselves. And that kind of image that she created that stayed with me. And so whenever I send an invite and I get a response like that back, it makes me realize that the posts that I'm putting up are starting to do that for people. And that by reaching out, it starts to open the door a little further. It's like the things I post open the door a crack. The invite opens it a little bit more. And it just keeps, and every time I reach out to them again, because for so many people, it doesn't happen right away. I have one new challenger who's just started Ultimate Portion Fix, and I've been talking to her for actually since the same group that I met Julie in. So almost 2 years now, since she and I started talking. And she's been through the death of her mom in that time. She's been through a lot. And I just kind of kept saying, she would kind of creep towards it, and then she'd go dark on me. And then, so a couple months later, I'd be like, hey, just checking in. You know, sometimes I'd say I've got a group, and sometimes I'd say, just how are you? And recently, you know, I said, I know that it's been a really rough period of time after your mom passed away, but I also know that you had said to me that you really felt like it was time for you to start taking care of you. And I just want you to know I'm here when you're ready. And she said, I'm ready. And by continuing, it feels so hard to keep reaching out because I think, imagine the worst possible reaction on the other side. Yet there are so many people who feel like by reaching out, we're throwing them a lifeline, a life preserver. We're opening up the possibility that, and I actually had a one-on-one call yesterday with my new corporate connection, the person in corporate who works with the 1 and 2 star diamonds in the Northeast. And she was asking me about my story and coaching and all that because she's brand new. And I said, I think that as a coach who's 50 years old and who works with a lot of people in my age group, I think that it's harder than working with people than if you're 30 and you're just talking about baby fat. I said, I think there are so many people in our age group who have truly given up on themselves, who are like, you know what? It's just too late. This is what it is. And they don't believe in themselves anymore, in the possibilities for themselves. And by watching our journey, it helps them to believe that it's possible and that we're there to help bring them into the same journey that we've been on. So, I think there's the two pieces. One is the take your heart out of the mix when you're sending those invites. Write down those names. Don't think about it. When you look at a name on Facebook and you think, I can invite them, invite them. Don't think any further. Just send it. Cut and paste and send. End of story. But also remember that every time you do, there is the possibility to change somebody's life. It's truly huge. And also realize that so many of their, as I was kind of saying, so many of their objections are based in fear. So sometimes you just have to be really almost upfront and say, listen, I know this is scary. I'm proud of you for even having this conversation. I know this is a scary step. And I've been there, and I never thought I would be here. I never thought I'd succeed. I didn't believe in myself at all. I truly understand that fear of failure and just giving up, but I'm here to help you. So it's all right to, and it always depends on your relationship with the person. But I think in more cases than you'd think, it's okay to be honest and just say, listen, I get it. And try to maybe put a little bit of a name to their hesitation. The more we can get people to share where their objections are, which goes with their fears and their hesitations, the more we can help talk through them and help them maybe get to the other side so that they can take the first step. The other reason I wanted you guys to have your notebooks is because, let me just pull this up. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this. It's floated around in a lot of things, but kind of lately in Beachbody land. It was Ashley Smith talked about it on a National Wake Up Call about a year ago. And Amy Rada talked about it at the New Leader Conference. The idea of the color wheel, there's color wheel stuff that you'll hear where, people do questionnaires to find out what color they are, all of that. This isn't really that. This is it's much more straightforward. It's the idea that all of us are incredibly colorful. And we all have all these wedges of who we are. And, the training gets into this some, where you're thinking about, the different parts of who you are. But nobody wants to see on Facebook nothing but workout posts. They want to see us. They want to see our messy lives. They want to see that we are real people who, trip and fall down and drag ourselves up again. It makes, nobody wants to see somebody perfect, and we're certainly not perfect. And it's so easy for Facebook to give that impression of perfection. And it's such an untruth. It's such an incredible untruth. And we're not doing ourselves a favor by presenting that. And I know none of you guys are doing that, but it becomes easier if you think about who you are. So whether you draw a circle and cut it into sections, or do it in a list, or, at another time print this out. Let's see, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. It was 12 or 13. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 sections. I want in the next, like in the next day or so, I want you to write down 12, 12 pieces, like 12 things. It could be anything. It could be mom. It could be foodie. It could be working mom. It could be, it could be Martha Stewart if you like to decorate and do things. It could be home goods. It could be words that you feel like are part of who you are, phrases that represent parts of you. We know we've got the nutrition and the working out. That part, we know that's part of who we are. What else is it? Is it something to do with church? Is it a sport that you really like? Is it tennis? Is it, like the list is so long, and it's hard for me to even think of everything because I can think of my things. For me, it's, teacher, mom of teens, right now college hunt or college life, dealing with that, foodie, I love cooking, I love restaurants, PD at this point would be one of mine, and I always get on there and talk about PD. Children's books, my dog, who has suddenly been appearing in lots more of my Instagram stories because I'm like totally obsessed with my dog. There's like such a list of different things that everybody can put. And sometimes you actually have to think a little bit, which is a good thing because it means that you're digging a little bit deeper. But when you're sitting there going, what should I post? Look at those pieces. Who are you? I could put workout clothes, like my tank tops and like the 4 pairs of new leggings that I just got because they were all on sale. I like literally workout clothes could be a wedge for me. So, which is different than just here, join my group. That's more of like I really like to shop, and now I've added workout clothes to the mix of what I like to shop for. Maybe it's shoes. Maybe you like to hike, and I think about different people, Heidi Laws she's hugely into nature. And actually there was like when we did our retreat and talked about core values, nature was one of her core values. So she posts about that a lot because it's just part of who she is. She posts about traveling for work all the time because she does so much of that. She talks about leadership because she does that for her full-time job. Elise Dosick has been doing lots of cooking videos, cooking various dishes, because in her heart of hearts, she'd love to have her own cooking show. So she's using her posts and her stories and Instagram as a vehicle to share lots of parts of her life. And I really, today I've had a couple people say this to me lately, but today as I was walking into school, I passed by one of the paraprofessionals who I'm new Facebook friends with. And she goes, do you write your own posts, or does somebody help you with the stuff that you put up there? Is that just stuff you write? And I was like, yeah, I actually really like to write, so that's always another piece of my wedge. I love to write. And I just kind of say what's on my mind. And I have no idea what she thinks about anything to do with nutrition and fitness because I really have barely ever talked to her until that moment today when she was like, thank you. I love what you write. It really is so real and totally I can totally connect to it. And that's what we're doing is we're building those relationships. And if nutrition and fitness is something in that mix for the people we build the relationships with, then great, they may decide to work with us. And that's, but it's coming from the relationship that's already been built. I had somebody just who had been working with another Beachbody coach. She did a free group with me also a while back, and we've just been Facebook friends, and she had another Beachbody coach, but I guess her Beachbody coach isn't that active, and she wants to do Ultimate Portion Fix because she's having some health issues with like fatty liver stuff, and doesn't really have an active coach to turn to who's running groups, and I'm the person she reached out to. And she reached out to me because she's been watching me, and I haven't invited her at all in the last because she works with another coach, and I don't do that because I haven't wanted to infringe on somebody else's territory. But things do change. Coaches do stop coaching, and people need support. And I'm the person she reached out to because she's seen me and she felt comfortable with me, and she felt that she would be supported and encouraged and taught by me. Somebody else reached out to me because they saw a post in a group that I'm in that's like a teacher's fitness group. And I'll jump in. I never invite to, I'll give advice. If somebody's talking about struggles with their nutrition or with fitness, I'll make some suggestions. And if somebody, and I'll say to somebody, if you want to talk to me on the side, I'm happy to share more information, but I let them take the lead on that. And somebody just reached out to me and said, I've seen you posting and I really need to make some changes and I'd love to work with you. So by being present, there are going to be people who are going to have issues. But there are going to be people who have issues no matter what you do in any part of your life. There are going to be haters. Taylor Swift nailed the word. No matter what we do, there are people who have criticized me as a teacher over the years. Overall, I've had amazing relationships with all the parents over the years, but there have been parents who have had, I've had those parents who have had huge issues with me. I had a parent a few years ago who went to my principal every few weeks to complain about me. Do I think that it was me? No, I think it was her. And she didn't like that her kid was like such a difficult child that he even threw a rock at me in 4th grade. She wanted to blame me for all of that. So remember that when people have issues, it's really not about you, it's about them. Sometimes people don't want to see people living good, happy lives. They don't want to see honesty because it comes too close to home. It scares them, it intimidates them, but because of them. And my hope for those people is that whether it's through me or through something else, that they get to a point that they can work on themselves so they don't feel that way. Because nobody should go through life feeling negative and hateful and down all the time. We all go through those periods of wallowing and being miserable. I certainly was last week. But nobody, you don't want that to infiltrate who you are. So if somebody is reacting negatively to you, whether it's because of what you're posting or because just of the changes you've made in your life, that's because of them. And I will say that honestly, I haven't had a lot of people react negatively to me over the time. I'm sure that there are people who have unfriended me on Facebook who I'm not even sure who they are. I'm certain, or that people have blocked my feed, whatever. Whatever, it's fine. Facebook is not my it's not the way I judge my friendships. And the friendships that I've developed because of Facebook have so much more meaning to them than being about just being Facebook friends now. They've grown into more, just like with all of you guys. So be you, do you, be authentic, be yourself, and the right people will come to you. You have to reach out to them. You have to invite, but those invitations will resonate with the right people. If you are yourself and are true to you and are just naturally honest, here I am, this is life, I'm living it, I'm doing it, then when you invite, the right people will respond to the invitation. That's my spiel. But your homework assignment is to fill in whatever way, print out the wheel, take a script, whatever you want. Just make a list, 12 things, 12 pieces of your, things that can be you to post in the Facebook group. Thoughts, questions? I'm going to unmute you guys. I can't, let's see. There. What do you guys think? Questions, thoughts?
Now, I like the 12 pieces of the pie because it helps, like you said, it gives you more ideas of what to post about other than just health and fitness and food and your shakes and sweaty selfies. So it gives people more of a fuller picture of who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I think like things like life with teenagers and whatever it is. I mean, I was like literally, it went on for way longer than I meant to today, but like I talked about like Pete the Cat today in a video, like one of my favorite books in my classroom as like a motto for life.
Some of the best things you can learn are from those kids' books, I'm telling you.
Totally. Yeah. Because that's, coaching or not, if you're going to be on Facebook, be yourself. If you're going to be out there, don't pretend to be something you're not. And I don't think any of us are, but there are a lot of people who do. I know it's getting close to the end of the month, but I, see what you can do. I seriously get one person and you're in the running for that $100. Why not? I'm like, hey, I'm in the mix. Maybe I'll win $100.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at these tuition bills, I could use it. Every penny's counted right now. All right. Anything else? Any other questions real quick before we're done?
We're going to get cut off very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right.
I think we're good.
All right. If you I'm going to post the recording in the group. If there are any questions, throw them in there and I'll look for your list tomorrow.
Ooh.
All right.
Thank you.
And send invites to the people that you wrote down.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Mia.
Night, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Right. Two.